Hi all, it's Mugen Ross here with the Raw review of the Raw after WrestleMania. This was meant to be the big hype episode of starting the new year and the rest of the storylines going straight after WrestleMania. To start the show, we had Triple H coming out giving a speech explaining how that we're not really going anywhere. This is due to the sale with Endeavour, where 51% of shares were now sold to the Endeavour team, which also are collaborative workers with USC. It's a very interesting thing because a lot of people are going to have that slight worry or that slight speculation of what's going to happen for the future of WWE. So to have Triple H very quickly come out and be like, look, nothing's changing, is very interesting in that sense because he's very much trying to dumb down everyone's like expectation and just be like, look, it's gonna stay the same, nothing to worry about. But with how the rest of this episode of Raw played out, it kind of felt like a false promise, especially knowing the fact Vince McMahon kind of took charge in creative all over again, which we're meant to have Triple H as the head of creative, but it never really felt that way. We then go into a Roman and Cody segment. Everyone was very hyped and expecting this to go a lot further, especially with the fact of the results of after WrestleMania. The fact of it kind of felt flat. The fact of the crowd are shouting, we should get a rematch, especially after Cody was like, so if Solo Sikoa wasn't a factor and got involved, who knows? And he's like, I would love a rematch. And Paul Heyman stating, no, you're not getting any, no time at all. To then, it leads to this tag match stipulation. They're like, yeah, let's do a tag match tonight then. And Cody states he'll have a random opponent. Boom, hit Brock Lesnar's music. For me, it made no initial sense. Like, don't get me wrong, I like the fact Brock Lesnar entered and came and stood next to Cody and was like, you know, I'll come back your case and let's get in the ring and go for it. Then we go straight into another match that I wasn't personally a fan of. We have Elias walking out, doing his usual gimmick of entertaining the crowd as a musician, to have a made match for Omos to go against them, and then Omos just literally squash matched Elias. It's like they haven't even really gave chance for Elias to rebuild himself after the whole situation that was going on with doing the Ezekiel to now it's come back as Elias, slowly letting Elias come back as himself, to constantly making him lose or make him be very much like jobber enhancement talent for people. And it kind of sucks. And a lot of the rest of Raw had these type of matches that went forward. We then go to a backstage segment building on this, you know, Jimmy and Jay situation. They've lost their belts now. They've gone and knocked on the door, and it didn't seem like they were like Roman was going to be upset or anything. He kind of didn't really let that happen on the screen, so we don't know where that's going. It was more Heyman, and Heyman was like, "Oh yeah, it's good to see you. All of this, here's what it is," and kind of stopped it from happening. So I feel like that's going to be a storyline to build for Friday SmackDown, hopefully. And told them to, get on a jet, have a good time, chill out. Then we have some highlights. These were just bog standard highlights of the Hall of Fame, just really showing the class for people who didn't see it. Still showing clips of WrestleMania as well, so that way people still have a bit of context if they didn't watch WrestleMania and are just tuning into the first ever episode of Raw type of deal. Kathy Kelly then has gone and spoke to Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny's been around. He was there at WrestleMania, and he is going to be the host of Puerto Rico when they are in Puerto Rico. So they're gonna have him be around a lot more. This ties in pretty well to how Rey Mysterio's segment went and had them there. Rey saying it's been a very emotional week, which we completely understand. It was him going against his son and building from that whole storyline. And he wanted to thank the WWE Universe for still taking him with open arms, and Ray also, was very thankful to Bad Bunny. Them two have had previous interactions when Bad Bunny was back on television with them, so it makes total sense that they are kind of lining them up together and tying that storyline in. Austin Theory interrupted, which I was very interested to see where this was going, because they are very much building Austin Theory to be taking on some of the more very well-known talents now. He's had wins over Edge, he's had wins over John Cena, so seeing him come out to potentially have a feud with Ray, I was quite interested in seeing, because it kind of feels like they're doing what Randy Orton was doing for a little bit of time with this Legend Killer, where Theory is making himself be very much known and respected as a US talent, because he's trying to take on the more respected and well-known talents, which is very interesting to develop a character, in my opinion. You very much had the crowd playing into it, going the whole you tapped out, because of the whole ref situation, with the cheap shot that happened, so the ref never saw that Theory tapped out, and then he still got a win from it. And then we had the Prop 2 match, where Theory was going against Rey Mysterio because of their back and forth interaction, and it was not for the title, but Theory still won. And this is where I was saying about like how they're really building Theory to now take out a lot of the bigger known talents and really pushing Theory as the next guy. Going on from that, you have Dominic come down, cause an interruption, and have a lot of drama going into this. And we see, for the first time, Damian Priest and Bad Bunny interact with each other since Damian Priest has been here. Them two tag together, they fought with each other and helped each other out. So this was a very unique situation where Damien didn't kind of want to get involved, to then seeing that Bad Bunny got himself involved and hit Dom. Damien took it upon himself to get involved in that situation. He chokeslammed Bad Bunny through an announce table, and it now seems like they potentially are building that as maybe a match that they're going to have for when they're in Puerto Rico. I hope so. It'd be very interesting. And then we cut to a commercial break where Adam Pearce is kind of having a go at Priest backstage, and Priest told Pearce that Bad Bunny was his friend, and if he wasn't, Bad Bunny would be a lot more upset, and Pearce would be a lot more upset, like, because Priest kind of went easy on him. Then we have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn segment, the whole "you deserve it" chants, which is very fitting, especially because they, in my opinion, were the combination of the best story to finish out of WrestleMania. I feel like if Cody Rhodes did get that win against Roman, it would have been an electric pop for when he did walk out. But I feel like that pop definitely more swayed to the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and I feel them as tag champions is going to be great to see what they push forward. We also had the Olay chants, which was perfect. Sami Zayn just talking about how it's been a crazy year for him, going against Johnny Knoxville to now in the winning a main event of WrestleMania. I'm pretty sure this is one of the first WrestleMania main events where there was a tag team for the belts as a main event. In the comments, correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but I'm pretty sure this was a major deal in general just for the tag team wrestling, especially of the modern era of WWE. We had the Street Profits come and enter, toast with them, and state, it's great to see that you guys are now the tag champions. They also won at WrestleMania, Street Profits won their match at WrestleMania and then issued a challenge, which I thought was pretty cool. So we have the tag team champions of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn go against the Street Profits. This was pretty much a well-rounded match. It was not quite long. It was only about 4 to 5 minutes. Zayn made the hot tag, and Brett does this and hits forward with a tornado DDT, which was really nice, smooth hit, and really made the flow of the match go like a lot more in depth. Then a really weird and questionable spot happened after the match. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn did defeat the Street Profits, and it was a well deserved win. But then we went to a Seth Rollins segment where he kind of just was like, "Yeah, I won against Logan Paul. I'm on cloud 9, and I'm glad he's gone." And then Rollins just walked into the ring, sung his song, and yeah, it never really went anywhere. He just took the singing and then walked off after. So I don't know if there was an original segment planned for him to say something or do something or call someone out, and they just scrapped it. They just made him come in, let the crowd sing to him, and then he left. But it just felt so out of place. It was like just a whole weird build. We then have Bobby Lashley saying that he's frustrated to Kathy Kelly backstage. Bronson Reed kind of comes over and has a few words with him and says he was being very arrogant and went on about how he could be Lashley's pupil and said that even the student always beats the teacher. Lashley suggested a match, but Reed said he couldn't tonight. So they had a back and forth. Maybe we get a further match of Bronson Reed and Bobby Lashley, which I think would be really cool. I'd love to see them guys go at it. I'm quite a big fan of Bronson Reed, and it's nice to see Bobby Lashley is still getting that TV spotlight. It sucks he lost his WrestleMania match, but these things happen due to injuries and other wrestlers not being able to do these matches, especially if that's the whole storyline that's been built for them. Sometimes you will get cut from the card like that, especially like this episode. Several wrestlers had things planned to then it was scrapped last minute. Mustafa Ali comes out and it turns into a makeshift match of Bobby Lashley and Mustafa Ali, where Bobby Lashley pretty much beats the heck out of Mustafa Ali and just submits him with the heartlock. For me, Mustafa Ali has been very mediocre with this new gimmick he's trying to do, like this positivity and everything. I get where it's going, and I'm trying to enjoy it because I quite enjoy Mustafa Ali's work in the ring, but I feel this is just not coming across the way it should. It's coming across way too comedic. It's coming across like they're not really caring for his wrestling style. They're caring more for getting laughs on the telly from him and just him getting in people's head about like, oh, you should be positive, you should do this. We then have a Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley segment. Bianca Belair being the retaining champion, Rhea Ripley being the new champion. Both of them kind of coming out, sharing a few words and just speaking about their wins, and it kind of turns into a really weird situation where they were stating that one day when we're ready to fight each other, we'll do it. So I don't know if this is trying to tease that they're gonna unify the women's belts. I hope it isn't, or if it's just they're gonna fight each other at SummerSlam, not SummerSlam, sorry, Survivor Series, a lot later down the line. I'd be very happy to see that because they did originally have this feud planned for them before Rhea had her head injury for a while. But we'll see where that progresses. Liv Morgan and Raquel walk out very much after because they have an upcoming match going on, and they state that their story is kind of not finished after they had their WrestleMania going. They wanted to do more. They have a match against Dakota Kai and Io Sky, and this gives them a tag belt opportunity. We have The Miz come out on TV, and he talks about his WrestleMania, how Snoop Dogg did him dirty and made him basically fight 4 people, and he's just getting sick and tired of it. He said it's the new episode of Raw, it's the new story, it's the new beginning, and I'm not going to be treated like a chump. To hit the bro music cues, and we have Matt Riddle returning. This was super exciting. This was a breath of fresh air. This is what we needed with the Raw after WrestleMania. I'm not saying we constantly need like new debuts or we need people returning, but that's the things people get excited for these Raw after WrestleMania. The big shock factors, the big, oh my god, this person's coming back, or oh my god, this storyline is now potentially happening. So seeing Riddle back, knowing he's recovered, he's ready to wrestle, get back in that ring, I'm super excited for it. Miz went to quickly drop and hit Riddle really fast. They kind of have a back and forth. Riddle gets kind of the win over Miz in that situation, and finished it with the bro Derek, I believe it's pronounced, which was freaking awesome. Corey Graves then also, after this match, states that Bad Bunny was taken to local medical facilities. He might have been suffering a separated shoulder, and he had to apologise to the fans of Bad Bunny because this happens. We go to a then backstage segment of Byron Saxon interviewing Becky, Lita, and Trish, stating that they're happy to be done with the damage control situation. They have new goals of elevating the tag titles, and they state that beating Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez would be a good start because Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan got their tag team opportunity match by beating Damage Control of Io and Dakota. So they do that. Then they've now planned for next week that match of Becky Lynch and Lita versus Morgan and Rodriguez, and then we've got Riddle and Miz now also confirmed. To finish the night, we had what was started at the beginning, Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes going to be tagging against Roman and Solo Sikoa. So we're like, oh yeah, this is going to be really interesting. They all walk out to the ring, kind of gets ready to go, and then shock factor, Lesnar straight away picks up Cody Rhodes and hits an F5. Then decides to just beat the living heck out of Cody and just didn't really stop. Officials ran out, but like Cody was beaten really badly. He was thrown into a barricade. Pretty sure he picked up the stairs at one point and threw it into him or dropped him onto the stairs. And they just showed that he was going to get pulled out on a gurney, but he still picks himself and gets up. And to finish the episode, you have Brock Lesnar flipping everyone off. For me, this Raw could have been a lot better, but it just felt like very filler matches, very just quickly slapped together, and matches that didn't get anyone really hyped or explain the stories going after WrestleMania. Like, it just felt very clustered all together and not making a cohesive sense like the previous episodes have. And we had the whole Brock Lesnar being like, yeah, I'll team with Cody, to then throw in Cody with an F5. Personally, I don't think it's great storytelling. I don't think it elevates Cody in any way. I think it, if anything, it kind of hurts it, unless he is now given a match where he can go the distance and go against Brock Lesnar, and if he beats someone legitimately like Brock Lesnar, who's been a struggle for Roman in the past, it probably legitimizes that Cody could have another chance at the undisputed titles. But Raw, I'd give it a humble 5 out of 10. Seeing Vince take creative was such a backstep. Seeing so much of the storylines not making sense was such a backstep. Not having any of the fresh talent was such a backstep. And just now, a lot of confirmation of wrestlers that were planned under Triple H to potentially come into Raw after WrestleMania and do these like shock factor. Oh, this person's debuted or this person's debuted. was completely scrapped. It just feels flat, and I'm worried for where the next few episodes are, especially if the creative is going to completely change. You can't keep doing start and repeat. I found NXT had this where they went from the black and gold to then doing the rainbow to then going back to black and gold. Like, the wrestlers still did great, but the stories just felt really weird because they were trying to go one direction to then another direction, and then they're now on this, and it's working for them now. And I don't want Raw and SmackDown to become in that circle of just rinse repeat again, because we had so many good Raws going up into WrestleMania, so many good SmackDowns going into WrestleMania. I really am shocked it's going so backwards. But that's been my review. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you want to see more of this, put in the comments saying Ross do another review. Sorry it was a bit long-winded as one. Very much came across very ranty. Hopefully in the next Raw I'll be speaking a lot more enjoyable about it. Thanks guys. Peace.